I like this, oops, hold on, okay. I like this sentence because it leads into like what your paper is going to talk about, and it's really convincing. I think for this sentence, oops, right here, you should put it before once asleep, Dahmer would strangle his victim to death and dismember the body, because this event occurs before the other one. So I like this sentence because it really explains what our whole research paper is on, like not how people killed them, but why do people feel the need to engage in murder and gruesome behavior. So I wouldn't put this sentence right here just because it isn't answered in the next sentence, but maybe when you're answering that question, like right when you begin to answer that question, you can ask it, just because when you ask a question, you answer it right after, so, but it's still a really good question. I don't think right here naming the victims is necessary, just because he has so many. But if there's like a connection between like all of their names or something, you could talk about that instead and just give like a few examples rather than like name all of them. I really like that sentence just because it explains so much about why he may have killed, like he was just away from the world and everything, so I really like that. Just right here, I don't know if that has to be like a different ending, maybe smiled, or while smiling most of the time. It makes sense where you said up until he was 6, Dahmer laughed. It just doesn't really make sense when you said smiling most of the time. But if you changed the ending on smiling to maybe smiled, or continued smiling most of the time, it would make more sense, but it is a good sentence. This part right here, I think, connects as to why he murdered people. Like, if you wanted to talk about that, like maybe he wanted to start over with another guy and then break the tie with them by killing them, because that's just what he learned by growing up moving around so much. I think this is really good foreshadow as to what's going to come in your paper, so I really like that. I really like that because it explains like why he killed, and I don't know, it just gives a lot of detail about why he chose men and why he decided to have sex with them when they were dead. So that's really good. I also really like this because it adds to the loneliness and isolation that he felt. So this sentence also gives a lot of detail to your paper too, and I really like that. This is a really detailed sentence, and I really like that. So I think if you're going to add this into your paper, you should take out the other sentence that says this was around the time when he picked up his first victim, Stephen Hicks, who was a hitchhiker, because it kind of explains here that he was a hitchhiker and that his first victim was Stephen Hicks. So if you wanted to take out like either of those sentences or maybe like combine them, it would make it sound more like, instead of just repeating itself. I think this is a really powerful sentence, and I really like that. So that just, it ties your paper all together as how people are different behavior monsters and why people act the way they do and how you can become a behavior monster. So I really like that. I really like your closing sentence because it gives everyone like a sense of hope, and also that it's not uncommon for the lack of attention in human beings and how they thrive for attention, and that they'll really go to any extent to like get it. So I really like that because it gives your paper a good closing. It makes you think more about why do people do this, and gives you kind of your own ideas of your whole paper and what this guy went through. So I really like that, and it was a good paper overall.